What is going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back again for a Tottenham update. I'm joined by Rez, and we're going to be talking about a few pieces of Tottenham news over the past 24 hours. And let's get right into it. And the first piece of news comes from Emerson Royal himself. And this is apparently he's been talking to a few publications down in Spain. And he was asked about some potential Atletico Madrid interest. And he said, yes, it has come to my attention that Atletico Madrid are interested. But for now, it's a good time. I'm having a good time at Tottenham. I don't know. It only belongs to God. I always want to work on the moment, but it is clear that I see these things too. Very interesting that he's pretty much confirming that Atletico Madrid are interested in him. Obviously, would you lose any sleep if he was to leave in the summer?
No.
And that is that.
That's the short answer. The long answer is no. No, I really wouldn't. I make no secret of the fact that I'm not convinced that Emerson Royal is the right player for us. Listen, I've said it before. He might turn out to be the best right back in the world ever one day, but he isn't that right now.
Definitely not.
And he's a long way from
young,
it.
22 years of age.
Absolutely. So there's plenty of room for development, but I don't want us to be spending time developing Emerson Royal. We need better players, and we need them now.
Are you surprised by a club like Atletico being interested in him?
Not overly surprised, because I mean he wasn't bad when he played that season. So was it Eibar that he played for?
No, Betis.
From Betis, that's right, from Barcelona, that's right. And apparently he did well, and he was good. You know, he's done it before in Spain. If he goes back to Spain and his career takes a solid trajectory, fine, good luck to him. You know, wish him no ill will. Just think that we can do better, and we should. So,
and it's also important to know that we did sign him as a right back, and that role has changed to right wing back. And
Absolutely.
I think the way he plays, like I do think, like defensively and stuff like that, he's because he's quite athletic and he can cover a lot of ground down that side. He's actually pretty decent at he's actually quite difficult to beat for a lot of wingers. And actually as well, when he actually does get into space pretty well, it's what he does with the ball and how he uses it, which is also a massive issue. And he can't seem to have any quality on a consistent basis. And I think that's what Conte really requires from his wing backs is, I think, offensively, that's the most important thing almost when it comes to Conte's wing backs, and I don't think Emerson's ever going to be what he wants him to be.
I don't think so, and I think the best analogy would be: would you play Dyer as a striker?
No,
because he's a defender. Wing back in a Conte system is almost, not exclusively, but almost entirely an attacking role when it's working properly.
Yeah, it should be, because you got the cover from the centre backs. So obviously you have to defend.
A little, but every player has to defend at some point in a game. So would you, if you want an attacker, you don't sign a defender. Emerson Royal is a defender. We need an attacker for our right wing backs. You know, we need a player that is geared towards attacking, and he isn't that. So, draw a line under it. If Atletico want him, let them have him. Good luck to him. I hope he has a successful career and wish him no ill will. But I would like someone else, please.
Fair enough. I think Conte agrees with you. Next up, we're talking about Tanguy Ndombele, fresh from his scoring exploits at the Olympic Stadium in the Europa League quarter-final first leg. He did equalise for Lyon as they drew 1-1 against West Ham, and it has come out from the Evening Standard, Dan Kilpatrick, reporting that Tanguy Ndombele is expecting to return to Tottenham this summer, as Lyon are not planning to take up an option to sign him permanently. He does follow on to say that Antonio Conte at the moment sees no future for Tanguy Ndombele at Tottenham. So not great news from that point of view, but I guess the only thing is, does that leave a potential resurrection of his Spurs career, or do you think that's out of the question?
I don't see it, Sim. I honestly don't. He still hasn't shown that he really wants to apply himself. Obviously, I don't follow Lyon, religiously to sort of see how he plays week in, week out. But there's been nothing to say that the change in atmosphere has changed his attitude and approach to the game. Conte's, every team should be like this, but Conte sets great store by teamwork and collective effort. Everyone has to be pulling in the same direction. We can't have a situation where the only way Ndombele is pulling in the same direction as everyone else is when everyone else pulls in his direction. He's got to basically slot into the collective. If he doesn't do that, there's no future for him under Conte. He's sadly the most expensive mistake we've ever made as a club. We should be cutting our losses. I genuinely would give him away for free. Just to get him,
just get him out.
Just to get him out, get his wages off the books, take the hit, take the loss, learn from your mistakes, and do due diligence on a player before you sign him. But yeah, we can't have, from what we've understood, a negative influence in the dressing room in the summer while Conte is trying to rebuild the squad.
Yeah, and it's not something that just Conte's been saying. Mourinho said it as well, didn't he? He said from when it comes to ability and all these things, Ndombele is second to none, but he always leaves you wanting more.
Yeah, and
he always feels like he's got something more to give. Yeah. And if too many managers are saying that, obviously they can't all be wrong, can they?
Absolutely.
And that's always the thing. Obviously he's doing quite well with Leon. He did score against West Ham, so which is good. But yeah, I agree. I think we have to try our best to get as much money for him as we can in the summer and get him off the wage bill, because I've always either he hasn't settled or whatever reason it is, it's just not working out for Tottenham.
Absolutely.
I don't think. But look, if he come September 1st in 2022 and he is somehow still part of the squad, I guess it's up to him if he wants to earn his way back into the team.
Yep.
Next up is Christian Eriksen, obviously playing very well at Brentford at the moment, and his agent was asked about his potential future and where it lies. He said it's clear that Christian is making a big impression at the moment, both with the national team and Brentford. The speculation about his future is a logical consequence of this. Although Christian is widely recognised for his positive influence at Brentford's level and the team's achievements, he would prefer just to concentrate on the club's collective goal, which is to avoid relegation. Obviously not giving too much away there. But when it comes to Christian Eriksen, first of all, are you impressed with how he is playing right now for Denmark and for Brentford? And is he a potential player that, first of all, do we need someone like him in the squad, and would you take him back for next season?
I've been impressed by how he's done for Brentford and for Denmark. The horror of sort of seeing him collapse in the way he did drew speculation that his career was over, and that was appropriate to ask those questions. But he's demonstrated that he's fit, he's healthy, and he can continue playing, and that's good news for everyone, for him and for football, because he's a great player. In terms of coming back to Spurs, you see, you can't deny that he's a great player. The question is he a player that we need? Can he fit into the way that Conte wants to play?
Well, he did play under Conte into Milan.
He did, but from what I understood, and I might be incorrect on this, Conte didn't play the same way that he plays, or the same way that he sets up at Spurs at Inter.
Correct.
So, again, it comes down to it's a bit of a cop-out when I say this, and I admit that, but if Conte wants him, I want him. If Conte doesn't, then neither do I.
But it's true. Look, it's true. We don't play the same way they played, but we have, for example, in the Liverpool game, we didn't play the same formation we currently play. We played three in the middle against the likes of Leicester as well. We've done it a few times, and having someone like Eriksen might give us a bit more tactical flexibility from that point. And are we not missing someone like Eriksen from the squad, a player who can play in those deep lying positions with real penetrative passing and real quality? And like at the moment, it seems as though if Harry Kane's not playing unbelievable through balls, you don't really have a player in those deep positions who can, when teams are sitting deep, who can really force the issue and pick a lock. And isn't he someone who maybe we are lacking in terms of profile of player?
In terms of profile, absolutely, yes. We, Desk was famous. Dele, Eriksen, Son and Kane was it was like the most potent threat in the Premier League for 2 seasons. Yes, profile-wise, we do need to make a statement of intent to say we are back. But that does raise the question, of whether or not Eriksen is that statement of intent if you sign him. Because, and I'm not saying this in a pejorative way, him having suffered that does raise speculation and questions over whether or not he is that prime peak player anymore.
But if he's played the way he is now,
well, this is it. This is it exactly. I mean, it's very difficult to sort of pin down a specific answer on that one. Let's put it this way: I wouldn't be displeased if we signed Eriksen. I wouldn't feel that it was a bad signing. Obviously, you will only know that after he's played for a period. But I don't think he's the only option. I think there would be other choices that we could make, and that potentially those choices might go for a better fit than Eriksen, perhaps.
but he is on a free.
But he is on a free.
So
Yeah,
I think
that's the thing. That's the thing. There are so many factors involved that in some of them he fits well, and in some of them there are questions, and so it's a very complicated one to give a definitive yes or no on that one. I think, yeah, it's dependent. As I say, I wouldn't feel displeased if we got him. I'd be excited by signing him if we did, but at the same time, if we didn't, I wouldn't lose any sleep over it.
Fair enough. Last but not least, we have Steven Gerrard, and he has been talking about Harry Kane in his pre-match press conference. He was asked about Kane's loyalty and the fact that he's been at Spurs for so long, and he's quoted as saying, "I admire his loyalty to Tottenham, and of course, I'm sure it's been tempting for him on many occasions to go and take one of those options. The Spurs fans should enjoy him and admire the loyalty he's given to them. You can see a guy who is desperate for success with Tottenham, and I have a lot of admiration for that. He might still have the opportunity to achieve a couple things in his career, which might mean more to him with Tottenham than anyone else because of what Tottenham have also given that player. That's what it's boiled down to with me. The decision was, yes, I could go 3 or 4 teams in a foreign country or a couple domestically who maybe have a better chance of winning, but winning something with your team, the one you love, and the supporters you love, I think that will mean more to him for the rest of his life than a short-term fix." When you think of Steven Gerrard, obviously he had that famous failed move to Chelsea back in 2000, just after winning the Champions League back in 2005. But although he didn't win too much after that, did he? He won an FA Cup maybe and maybe a League Cup, but and obviously the quality of player, you might argue Gerrard should have won more in his career. And when you look at Steven Gerrard, do you see him as an example of why you should stay at a club for as long as he did? Or do you see him as an example of a player who could have won more if he moved?
I think we set a lot of store, or players are said to set a lot of store by this idea of winning things. And that winning things is the be-all and end-all of sort of being a football player. Now, obviously, not being a football player myself, I can't state whether or not that's right or wrong. All I can do is imagine. Now, Kane has the potential to be an iconic hero at Spurs. Something that, he has the potential to overtake Jimmy Greaves' scoring record. Now, if he does that, he would be the only one in that position. He would be Spurs' record goal scorer. No one else can be that with him unless someone scores the same number, but that will take forever. That is unique. Whereas winning a Premier League trophy, yeah, of course it's special, but it happens every year. There are lots of winners of the Premier League title in terms of players, but there's only one top Spurs goal scorer. There's only one sort of all-time Premier League goal scorer, which he can do at Spurs. He doesn't have to leave to get that. He just needs to keep banging the goals in, which he does consistently. So I would, personally, I can only speak for myself, I would rate my status in Spurs' history higher than any sort of league championship that I might win or trophy that I might win. I would prefer to be the Premier League's all-time goal scorer than win 10, Premier Leagues, if you like, because it's, there'll always be another Premier League next season. There'll only ever be one top goal scorer. So for me, I would, if it was me, maybe got Spurs tinted glasses on, I would stay. If he doesn't, you can understand why. I wouldn't be happy about it. I would be very heartbroken over it. But I agree generally with what Gerrard is saying. In terms of Gerrard himself, I think it was a case of he wanted, at the time, he probably thought that trophies were more important, but now he's possibly seeing it from a different perspective. Or maybe he's just frightened of Man United, becoming potent by getting them, and he's just trying to dissuade Kane from going to Man U because of the rivalry. Who knows?
Yeah, it's interesting what he says. He says winning something with my team meant more to me than a short-term fix of winning our trophies, and I just hope that Harry Kane feels that winning something with Tottenham would mean more to him than winning something with Man City or Man United or something like that. The only question is, will he win something at Tottenham? And that's the problem.
That is just precisely.
That's the big question.
Yeah.
But I hope he will, and I hope he continues to plug away. And I think at the moment, as long as we have someone like Conte at the helm, I think there's every chance he's going to stay for the long term. I think he needs someone at this stage of his career, especially, always pushing him further, always demanding more from him, always having that winner's mentality. I think, obviously, we had Nuno at the beginning of the season. Nuno just isn't the same caliber of what Kane wanted, and everyone was blaming, Kane, he's throwing his toys out the pram, all this kind of stuff. Like, no, it's he obviously. He thought, he didn't believe this team was going the right direction. Then we bring in Nuno to solve it. What was he supposed to think?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? He was obviously
Nuno is a smaller name in football than Harry Kane.
Exactly. He needs someone on his level. Yeah. And I always knew as soon as he got that, he would go back to even better as how he's playing. And when it comes to Harry Kane, he is 29 at the moment. People say, "Well, look, he's approaching on 30. He's getting to that stage where he wants to win things." But for me, you look at the best strikers in the world right now. Benzema is 34. Lewandowski's 34. Yeah. Ronaldo's 37, but he's a complete freak. Messi, obviously not on top of his game at the moment, but he's 34 as well. Players are clearly lasting a lot longer. Yep. So if I was Kane, I wouldn't get scared about approaching 30 at all. Absolutely. I think he's got no signs of slowing down or anything like that. So I think talk of him running out of time is completely premature.
I agree.
Or anything like that.
I agree, absolutely. I mean, he's about 80 goals behind Shearer at the moment. He can get 20 goals a season over the next 4 seasons without any problems at all. Obviously, this season, the reason that he's so low in the scoring charts was because he just had that period at the beginning of the season. If he's hitting the ground running as he has been over the last couple of seasons, last season he got the Golden Boot, he can get 80 goals in the next 4 seasons and be the top Premier League goal scorer. And for me, I'm sorry, anyone who still underrates this man is either deluding themselves or is just subject to incredible bias, because you cannot deny the unutterably amazing talent that Harry Kane has got.
Even at this stage, I still feel like he's proving people wrong. Yeah. Because first half of the season, people are, he's finished, he's done, he can't do it anymore. And he's still having to prove people wrong even now, even after how much he's proved.
Absolutely.
Which is ridiculous. But that is all we have for today. Thank you very much, Rez, for joining me for another video. And it's been a pleasure having you in the studio today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for joining me. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below about all the stories we talked about today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.